I think, people that go through it the worst are sometimes the best business owners because they are less scared to make decisions, right? You realize like you only live once. And so, why not make big scary jumps to, improve yourself or your lifestyle? You know what I mean? So
welcome to Our Family Invests, the podcast where successful couples come together to share their inspiring stories of balancing family, life, and business. We're Mike and Caroline Neubauer, husband and wife entrepreneurs striving to live our best lives with our family at the center. This podcast celebrates the couples who inspire us, invest in each other, and raise those around them to the next level. Join us as we explore their challenges and victories. Let's learn, share, and grow together. Today we're sitting down with Aaron and Kate Howard, a couple who've shared heartbreak and turned reinvention into an art form. In 2022, they traded the quiet plains of Iowa for the fierce energy of Florida. Kate swiftly became a standout realtor and social media coach, while Aaron channeled his artistic genius into creating social media video content. Together, they help other entrepreneurs grow their online presence. These two have redefined resilience, transforming life's harshest setbacks into the building blocks for explosive success. So sit back and strap in. This conversation's about to get awesome. All right, you guys, I am excited to sit down with you guys and learn more about your story. I know, Caroline, you are too.
Yeah, so
Let's
excited
go.
to be here.
Let's go. Great intro, by the way. Wow.
Thanks.
Woo!
all right.
Yeah, you guys sound cool.
Makes me feel
Yeah.
good about myself.
Good. That's how we want you to feel. So before we dive in, how did you two meet and who made the first move?
Oh, okay. So this is an interesting
start it
story.
right away.
Yeah. So I was actually Kate's yoga instructor. So I'm a certified yoga instructor and a registered nurse as well. But when we met, I was going to school and I was also teaching yoga. She came to one of my classes and we didn't really hit it off at the class. However, I did learn sometime after that. After the class, I put wet, cold towels on people's foreheads to cool them down. As hot yoga, so it's hot in there. So I cool them down and everything. But I didn't realize when I hover myself, when I'm sweaty over people, I'm dripping sweat on their face. And she told me I dripped sweat in her mouth, and that's what did it. It was the sweat being dripped in her mouth, and she's like, "I need more of that."
Yeah. That's his version, okay?
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to hear yours.
So yeah, I married my yoga instructor. So that's a short
So you went
version.
back for a couple of more classes?
I did. Actually, when I took his first class, I said, I'm never taking his class again because it was very difficult for me at the time. And then I ended up going back, got tucked into it. So
Right. But at the time it was kind of a strange time for both of us. I was going through divorce. Her husband had just passed.
mhm.
So we were kind of in this
Weird place.
weird place at the time. And so we weren't even looking for each other. That's the last thing we wanted was
No.
to get into another relationship. But the universe has a funny way of making things work and telling you what you need to do and where you need to be. And it just happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so when was this? This was obviously pre-Florida. So you guys are in
Pre-Florida.
Iowa at this time, right?
Yeah. So we met in 2014. So
Okay.
way back then. We got married in 2017.
Wow.
And then we didn't move to Florida till 22.
Okay.
So yeah.
And at that time, you guys had your businesses in Iowa already established?
So that's a good question. So Kate was actually working full-time at the Arsenal, right?
Yeah. So I was a government employee at the time, and I had got my real estate license in 2013.
Okay.
So I'd kind of started the process of getting my license with the intent to buy rental properties, right? So I didn't intend to be a full-time agent, but as I started doing it and buying rental properties, I realized how much I liked it. And I was like, how can I slowly get rid of this 9 to 5 and slowly go full-time with this real estate gig? So that's kind of what I did, and eventually went full-time in like 2016.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was going to school to become a nurse, and then also I was teaching yoga like I spoke about. And then after school, I started working for a holistic doctor, and I was managing their lifestyle program and seeing some of the patients and that kind of stuff as a health coach. And I just learned a lot about myself at that point in time. And I said, damn it, you know what? Like, I have all these freaking great ideas and no one ever wants to listen to anything or like think that my idea is going to work. And I said, fuck it. I quit. I'm going to work for myself. I'm just going to do what I feel I can do with my talents. And I came home and I told Kate that I had quit my job. She said, well, what are you going to do now? And I said, I guess I got to fucking figure it out. So I figured it out. I started teaching yoga for free. And she said, how are you going to make money doing that? I said, I don't know. I just feel like this is the thing to do. And I'm being led to do it. So I'm going to do it. So I started teaching free community yoga. And the first couple of sessions we had about 25 to 50 people that showed up. And on the third session I had a lot of business owners approach me and they said, hey man, like, can I set up as a vendor? Like, how much does it cost to be a vendor here so I can like advertise my business in front of all these people you're attracting? I said, oh yeah, that's how I'll make money. So then we made it bigger and really made it a big production. And before you knew it, we had 70 something vendors at our events and hundreds of people participating. And it just became a really good thing. And through that, we started doing video as well. On Facebook, social media. Yeah, when Facebook Lives were a thing.
Yeah, it just had come out.
And so we had all this equipment, how we could set up like a really fancy live production with multiple cameras and angles and pre-production, pre-recorded footage and dump it in there and do all this fancy stuff. And people were drawn to it. And so then people started asking us, can I film commercials? I started doing her real estate videos and her virtual tours. And then people started asking, can I film commercials and website videos for them and training videos? And I was like, absolutely. And it just became a thing.
So did you have any background in video?
Just as a child, I would run around with my dad's camcorder, like thinking I'm producing something, or I would put together skits and plays with like my siblings and stuff. And I'd act like we're on a big movie set. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just messing around as a kid. But like, that's what I feel like I do now. I'm doing what I wanted to do when I was 4, 5, 6, 7 years old.
But it feels right?
It feels right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say his experience with the camera is more, he started out being in front of the camera, right?
Yep.
Loves the camera, but then he got behind the camera, and started doing the producing. That's why he's really good at teaching people what they need to say and how they need to be to keep it like authentic. So that's his gift.
That's so good. So you're doing this at this point. You guys are still in Iowa, right? You're creating these events where you've got, 70 vendors. That's a lot. That's a lot. So you got these events, you're doing yoga, you've got, Kate, you're a realtor out there, you're established. So how do you go from that to be like, you know what, let's bounce, let's go to Florida? It's really hard to do that when you have an established business.
And did you have a plan?
I had a plan in mind. I was doing some life coaching with Tracy O'Malley, if anyone knows her, shout out to her. And I have a plan for my life. Of course, things take it off the rails. But at the time I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then when we turn 45, we're going to retire. And then we're going to move to Florida or move somewhere. We had a couple different options, right? And as I was talking to her, she's like, well, what are you waiting for? I was like, I don't know. I thought like at 45 we would do that. And she's like, but you have no kids, you have family there, but they'll come visit you. Like, what are you really waiting for? And I reflected and I'm like, I have no idea. I really don't. I didn't have an answer for her that was logical or that made sense. So I was like, almost instantly I was like, we're going to Florida.
Yeah.
And
she did.
So I think that I had that epiphany in like, I don't know, maybe like January of 22.
We were sitting on the couch and you looked at me and said, we're moving to Florida. And I said, okay.
He didn't really question it. So
wow.
We go with the flow. So yeah, that's kind of how we do. I said, if we can create it in the Quad Cities, we can restart anywhere, right? Like we might have to work harder than we, have been to get ourselves established, create a new sphere of influence, but we had the tools already. Like we had already done the social media and we love networking. We aren't scared to get out there, put our name out there, all those kind of things that really help get your businesses going. So that's what we did.
Had you been to Florida before? Did you know that market and did you know where you wanted to go?
Yeah. So we wanted Sarasota. We like the Gulf Coast side, and Tampa we felt was too busy, like too city for us. And Naples, we felt was too far south. And we also liked Sarasota because there's 4 airports that got us back home within 1 hour.
Wow.
So that was a big driver for us, because I felt like no matter what day of the week it is, we'll be able to get back home if we need to, because we still have properties there. We still have friends and family there. Both of our businesses were still running there. So we wanted to be able to get back instantly if we needed to.
So you were buying investment properties from early on. That's kind of how you got into real estate, right?
Right.
And so
Yep.
do you still have that portfolio, and what does that look like? Are they
So
still
we do.
in the Midwest?
We have 11 properties in Iowa and Illinois. So we are from Iowa, but we're right across the Mississippi is Illinois. So we're about 5 minutes from Illinois. So half of our properties are in Iowa and half of them are in Illinois, and we still have those.
Wow. Awesome. I was born in Illinois. So
Okay.
I
Nice.
grew up closer to Chicago, though, in between Chicago and Joliet. But I had been out to the Quad Cities a few times. In fact, I think I have the best taco pizza ever in a town called Kewanee, Illinois.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I
Yep.
know it's kind of in your neck of the woods, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. We're about 45 minutes from there.
Okay, so I now understand why the move to Florida. So tell me about how was the process getting started from scratch, right? Like hit the ground running once you got there. Like you guys have established businesses in Iowa. You got nothing in Florida. Like
And
what
did
did
you
that look
keep
like?
them running in Iowa?
Yes.
Yes, we did for, I would say about
2 years.
about 2 years. We were running back and forth, still helping, clients that we had. You had clients, I had clients, and then we had to go, of course, check up on our properties and, do things here and there. But to come to a new place where you have no sphere of influence, yeah, I mean, it could be hard, it could be difficult, but it could be a lot of fun too. You want to know what I did? This is what I did. I said, okay, no problem. I already know how to get business. So what I did was I walked around. I put my camera in my rig together. So I'm walking around with my gimbal, my camera, all my fancy stuff. I'm walking around the mall and I'm going places with this camera equipment, and people are just coming up to me, and I'm not even filming anything. They're just like, "Hey, man, hey, are you a videographer? Hey, can I have your information? We need some video production for our website or for our social media." I'm like, "Oh yeah, heck yeah, man, here you go." You know what I mean? So I'm just walking around, like a walking billboard with my camera, just passing out my business card to people, and I was getting business that way.
Wow.
And then we started hitting social media really hard. So we had hired some coaches, and we knew a little bit, or kind of a little bit about social media, but not to the extent to how you can really use it to generate sales and leads.
Sure.
And so we really started digging deep into diversifying ourselves into the studies of social media marketing strategies. And we started implementing different things. And before we knew it, I mean, our social media platforms, our Instagram, they just blew up all of a sudden. We went from 1,500 followers to 19,000 followers.
Wow.
And, 95% of our business comes directly from Instagram.
Wow.
So that's what we did. We just hit social media super hard, and it went all in. We went pro with it, and that's what we do. Yeah, now we teach others how to do it. Yeah, that's the nice thing.
So tell me, okay, so I want to dive into that. I want to dive into the business of how you teach others how to do that. But also tell me real quickly, why is social media so important? Like, I feel like there's still a lot of businesses out there that really don't have a social media presence, and they don't understand the upside to it. And to be fair, even us, like we're just starting to realize, like, oh man, we need to turn this on, right? So in your experience, you guys have been doing it for a while. Tell us why it's so important.
Kate.
Oh, you want me to answer?
Yeah, so I've been doing all the talking, I feel like, so far. And like her brains are like just super crazy smart. Like, yes, this is you.
So I feel like social media is the way for people to get to know you if it's used properly, right? So when I get people that reach out to me that want to work with me for real estate or social media or whatever they want, they feel like they already know me, because I don't talk about everything, but I talk every single day to the camera, and they already feel like they know, like, and trust me, right? I'm talking about what we eat for dinner, where we went to, out to eat, where I shop, where I like to go with my plants, here's our dogs. It's not super duper personal, but it is still personal, and it's everything about me. And so when people call me, I really don't do an interview process with my buyers or sellers. They already know who I am, right? So they're wanting to work with me because I put my personality out there. You'll never see me post a just listed or a just sold static post on Instagram, because number one, like, yes, people care how much you've sold or whatever, but there's not really a need that doesn't explain who you are as a person, right? So people tend to want to work with people, not a picture behind a house. You know what I mean? They want to work with someone that they can relate to, typically. So by putting yourself out there, and I do see a lot of people having multiple Instagrams, like they have their personal one and then they have their business one and they have this one. I tend to think that you need to just have one and have it be your personal brand so that people get to know you. It's okay if Kate Howard is a real estate agent and also has social media coaching, and she's also a plant mom, and she's also a dog mom, and all these other things, right? I can be all those things on my one page. And so people get to know me, what I'm about, the businesses I'm developing. They know my husband. So I feel like it's almost like a little mini reality show of, my life. So that's why I think it's so important. And when people don't use it in that way, and it's all business, 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 people tend to not relate to you as well.
So is it important to have a business account as well, for your video marketing?
I'm sure there's reasons to, like, we have one that's more just like a landing page. Okay. Like, we tag it when we're doing it, but 99% of my stuff is on my Kate Howard personal
page. Okay. Yeah. And do you guys mostly focus on Instagram, or do you do like LinkedIn and YouTube and TikTok and all those other platforms as well? And are there differences? Like, do you market differently on different platforms?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. We typically are, I would say, 99% Instagram. We do a little bit of Facebook. I do, because I still have a good following on my Facebook, and Facebook is more for your local community, friends, family, friends of friends, that kind of thing. But and LinkedIn is more kind of just business, kind of corporate type stuff. But Instagram really, I think, is like the gold mine, because the beauty, you ask why social media? Well, because one thing, it's free, and it's the best way to advertise and show the world who you are and how you can offer them, your services and products. And you can offer that to millions, billions of people, not just people here in America, but in China or, Russia or whatever, Australia. You can hit people all over the world and sell them your products and services. Someone from Australia might see my video and say, hey, we want to hire this guy. Well, we don't care. Your stuff is good. We want to fly you out here to film a documentary for us or whatever. So that's the beauty of it, is the amount of people you can reach just through posting content about yourself, who you are, and what you do. That's the value in it.
Yeah, I like that. So, as someone who's just kind of scratching the surface with social media, there's a lot of tools out there, right? Like tools and apps to try and make your social media like better, faster, attract more followers, all that kind of stuff. And there's so many of them, right? Are there some that you guys feel are just essential, like you can't live without, or do you just kind of just post everything directly through Instagram and just organic?
Yeah, you know what? That's such a good question. That's something that we go through on our coaching calls, because a lot of our members struggle with creating content. It takes them hours to create the content. They don't know how to post the content. They don't know what hashtags to use, and it usually flops. But the thing with the content is like,
keep it simple.
You got to keep it simple. So that's the thing. Keep it simple. Like, so many people are trying to do too many things and doing all this and that, but like, just keep it simple, and that's.
Yeah, we edit everything in Instagram.
Right.
I will say that I use Canva. Yeah. But I will say you don't have to. You can, now you can make carousels within Canva or within Instagram now too. So I think when people try to, especially when you're starting out, try to overcomplicate it by doing like the many chats and all these, fancy landing pages and stuff like that, they're great. but master the content first and then maybe add those fancy things
right.
to excel what you're doing. Because you don't really need ManyChat if no one's responding on your content, right? So like, why add that if you're not getting engagement?
Right. And why use CapCut if you don't know much about editing in the first place? If you're not even editing in Instagram, the app that you're supposed to post within, then why are you using a third-party app to create content? That doesn't even make sense. Yeah. Keep it simple. And again, I guess that was my point of what we go through with our members in our classes. All of them are trying to do all this fancy stuff and like, oh, it didn't work. I'm like, yeah, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Keep it simple. Use the Instagram platform to edit and post your content.
That's great. So tell us about how the group coaching works for your social media programs.
Yeah. You want to go on that one?
No, you go. Yeah.
It's a weekly call. We meet Tuesdays at noon Eastern time, and you can join in anytime. And we just talk about all the latest, greatest things that we're learning. And also we watch our clients' content and be like, okay, somebody's doing this, quit doing that. And trying to help them understand as a whole the strategies that we've used to increase our leads and sales. So that's what everybody wants, right? Is they want more people coming to their page. They want to improve their content, right? I mean, because if you don't improve your content, there's no reason to, you're not going to get any leads and sales. So that's ultimately what it is. It's hard to like create a course on something like Instagram because it's constantly changing, right? So people are like, well, can I just take a course? Well, if I gave you a course next month, I'm going to have to change half of it because the rules change and the strategies change and the trends are changing and all the things. So
yeah. And then in the program too, we give our members weekly content or reel ideas. So they don't have to think about it because all of them are taking so much time to generate and create content. Well, we just give them a formula. We say, here's your on-screen text. This is what you say in your caption. Copy and paste, you're done. Make it easy for people. And that's the thing, about what we are trying to teach and like how easy it could be. Once you learn these specific strategies, you're overall it's going to be easy. And we want people just to take off with it and just know that, hey, I just can keep it simple, and this is easy for me. I can do this all the time. Because if you're trying to do too much and you're going to get burnt out by trying to do too much, all the time. So our goal is to help our members keep it easy so they're consistent, and consistency will eventually lead to results.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think, I love how you say like, look, let's keep it simple and like, here's the formula kind of thing. But then there's also the aspect of keeping it authentic. So how do you teach people to find their voice, right? If they're not comfortable on it.
So I start off, we just talked about this last week, was I said, quit trying to impress people with all your knowledge and just talk to them like you would. So pick your favorite topic. One of my quirky things is I'm a plant lover, right? So I could talk about, if I met someone new, I could talk about plants forever. I probably wouldn't, trying to impress. I'm just talking about something that I thoroughly enjoy. And so that's what we try to get them to do, is be on their stories every day, to just talk about, what are you eating for breakfast? You can confidently talk to the camera about what you're having for breakfast, right? Most people can do that. And so once you start doing that and realizing it's not so scary and the engagement that you get from that, then you are more comfortable talking about something more complex or something else you're passionate about. And then that leads to being more confident on camera and coming across authentic, instead of trying to be like, oh, I'm going to make this really profound statement. It's like, just be yourself, and that will attract people. And it'll attract the right people, right? You don't want to impress people and then you're attracting the wrong crowd, and you don't want to work with those people anyway. So
yeah.
Yeah. Aside from coming off inauthentic or forced, what common pitfalls do you see businesses fall into with social media content?
The thing is, what I see with a lot of business owners and their social media is they are so confident that they're doing the thing, but they are not doing the thing. They're not doing the fucking thing. I mean, and they are their own worst enemy. And a lot of them just, they're so prideful in their business and what they feel they're able to do and take on. They feel that they could take it on themselves, and they have a hard time letting go and just letting someone else with the experience take it on, So, we have that problem too with a lot of our things, letting someone else take on some of our responsibilities because we're the best at it. We think that we're the best, But I think a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners have that issue where it's just hard for them to let things go, and they don't see it from an outside perspective. They think they're doing the thing. They're convinced. They open the business. Hey, they're the business owner. So, hey, whatever, type of thing. But
I think too, a lot of people hire VAs, which VAs are amazing, but VAs can't 100% do your content. And I see a lot of businesses using virtual assistants 100% for the content. There's no personality. You're just posting to post and check a box, which I guess is fine if you want to have a presence, but you're not going to get any leads. Your business isn't going to grow from that. So
makes sense. You
have to have a face, a personality. I mean, you don't have to have like a big personality. I'm not trying to say that. Like Erin's got a big personality. I have a, mid-average personality. But I would say but I still attract my tribe, right? And I just think that when your brand is so, you static post with your, your profile headshot in the corner, I guarantee no one gets engagement when they do that. I would love to see someone that gets engagement and gets leads and sales off static posts with information. A lot of people are not talking to their ideal client either. And so we help our clients understand who their target audience is,
That's great.
Some people are speaking to the wrong person. They think that this, and it's like, really, no, your messaging should be targeting this client. And then it's like, oh, okay. So like they've been talking to the wrong person this whole time, and the person that they're trying to reach, it's not connecting.
Yeah, and a lot of business owners, you ask them what did they do, and they do, and you get this paragraph of mumble jumble, and you're like, I still don't understand what you do. So a lot of their times, like they don't even know how to describe, and on their bio or their profile, what it is they do and how they can serve.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
And some people are so smart. I mean, they're, they excel. I mean, everybody we see has an amazing business, but they can't speak to it on a, like dumbed down level so that people that actually need them can understand why they need them. If you're talking above my head, I'm probably going to scroll past because I don't even understand. So it's kind of really like dumbing it down to the people that you actually want to speak to, and understanding like an 8-year-old could understand it, right? And then people get why
clear that anyone can understand.
Exactly. You got it.
I like that.
Yeah. All right.
Hey family, real quick. If you would prefer to watch your content, head on over to Our Family Invests on YouTube. You can watch this podcast and more over there. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that little bell icon too to make sure you never miss an episode. And now, back to the show.
You guys have both gone through some pretty tough times personally, right? Some personal challenges. I want to know, Erin going through a divorce, Kate going through the loss of a husband. I mean, that is insane. But has there been any kind of silver lining that, I mean, obviously you two have gotten together through all that, right? But has there been anything that these experiences have kind of influenced the way that you approach entrepreneurship or adversity or anything like that?
I think definitely. I mean, I think, people that go through it the worst are sometimes the best business owners because they are less scared to make decisions, right? You realize like you only live once. And so, why not make big, scary jumps to, improve yourself or your lifestyle? You know what I mean? So to me, I mean, that's the biggest for me because I was, a very planner or whatever. And then I realized like here, I've been planning my whole life and this huge bomb gets dropped on me and eliminated my so-called life plan. And, I had to come up with a new plan, right? Obviously it didn't come that easily, but you realize that like, what's the worst that could happen? I've already been through the worst, in my opinion. What was the worst for my life? So what's the worst that could possibly happen if I quit my 9-to-5 job and try to pursue my passion of real estate? And I think that's one thing Erin helped me see too, is just like, you seem really miserable at this job. Why are you still there? and like almost self-reflecting, like, hey, I'm noticing that you don't enjoy this. So why are you still doing this? But you can speak to your personal experience.
Yeah. Your experience though, I mean, seeing you come home miserable every day and then like you'd work 9 to 5 and then go work, 5 to 10 o'clock doing real estate every day. And I'm just like, okay, you got to stop. Like this 9 to 5, you're doing way better. And the, 5 to 10, do that. That makes you happy type of thing. Yeah. But for me, I mean, I don't know. I've been through ups and downs my whole life. I mean, I've never really had it easy, but I think that's what's made me stronger when it comes to facing adversity. I look at adversity like, hell yeah, let's go. Like, I'm ready. All right. Like, yeah, knock me down, but I know I'm going to get up stronger. That's my mentality. And I don't know if that comes from playing sports or, getting my ass whooped as a kid, by my parents. I always felt like, man, if I could take an ass whooping from them, I could take an ass whooping from anything. You know what I mean? I think, maybe that's why I excel through adversity. But yeah, I'm a positive person. I don't handle negativity. I can't do negativity. I don't like to talk about your disease, your illness. If you're sick, I don't care. I don't want to hear about that.
Not that you don't.
Not that, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about how your job that, is miserable when you can change that, or someone who is lonely. Like I have a friend, for example, he's always complaining about, oh, I don't have a girlfriend. Yeah, because you're sitting at home playing fucking video games all the time. That's all you do. And you drink beer and you have a beer belly. Who do you think is going to be attracted to that? So that's the kind of thing I can't do it. Because then I start talking like this and then it all comes out.
And I'm like,
yeah, and I say things that I shouldn't say. That's my problem.
We need positive Aaron back.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Sorry for the cursing, you guys. I apologize.
It's part of your personality. We love it. We want you to be authentic.
Mike loves it.
I do. So, all right. So you guys, obviously you guys are going 180 miles an hour right now with the social media and being a realtor and creating video and like, you guys are doing all this stuff. How do you make time for each other?
Paola?
We have a house manager that helps us do all the things so that we don't have to do all the house things after, we've been working all day. We work out every morning together, which I think is a great thing that I feel like we've always really done that and pushed each other to, because healthy body, healthy mind, right? We both we want to avoid the hospital and doctors at all costs. Like that's our life goal, really. So just because of what we've been through. And so, if that's working out every day, I think we both feel better mentally when we work out every single day. And what else?
What we eat.
We prioritize healthy eating.
Yeah.
Personal growth. That's huge for both of us.
Personal growth is huge. Spirituality, not really religion, but spirituality is huge,
And supporting each other when the other one needs it. Like sometimes he'll have a really busy day and then I'll pick up whatever slack or help him. I know how his operations work better when this and this and this is in place. And he knows like when I have a busy day that he knows what needs to happen so that, I can wind down every day.
Sure.
Yeah.
And just supporting each other's businesses and our business goals,
And I think that's, I think it comes easy to us because it's like she knows as far as running our businesses, she's good at specific things and I'm good at specific things and we keep in our lane, so.
Yeah, he doesn't cross into mine. You're not going to see him on a spreadsheet.
No.
And then I'm not going to be, doing, sales calls and, running a camera. So that's not my lane. So we know each other's places.
That definitely helps in the support when you are in your own lanes and you can just boost each other up, but not step on toes. So love that. How do you take time to celebrate wins?
Dinner.
Yeah.
Dinner. We love going to dinner.
We love going to fancy restaurants.
Nice.
Fancy dinners.
Yep. We like to eat well.
We love that.
Aaron likes to dress up.
We don't get super dressy, but we like, there's so many places around here that when we first moved down here, we're like, we're never going to go to the same restaurant twice until we've tried everything.
Wow.
So then we kind of now, yeah, it is. It's crazy. Yeah. But we tend to only go out to eat once a week. That's our thing. So
nice.
Because we do like to prepare most of our meals at home. That's like our celebration thing. And then once in a while, we'll go out on a special celebration. If, we have a work win or something like that, we'll do an extra night of the week. But
yep.
We kind of
do you schedule trips in advance, like over the year, or no?
I wish we did, to be honest, because I think we'd get to more trips.
We'd probably do more if we did. Yeah. But we're last minute people. We're just like, you know what? Let's take next week off and go to the mountains or something like that. Nice. Like we're very sporadic. It's kind of what we got going on with work too, and like where we are with the business.
The growth part of where we're at right now. I think. Yeah, it's been like a last minute thing, but we need to get better at that.
Yeah, and I imagine with the social media coaching, you can do that from anywhere, right?
Yeah, that's what's nice too. So we're really hoping that takes off so we could do more of that, and that would allow us to be out and about And by the way, I'll drop some information for you guys about that.
We'd love to have that, be able to share it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. We'll do that.
And then are you also in the elite community? Both of
We
you?
are.
Yes.
Both of you. Okay, good.
Well, we have one account
Yes.
that
Yeah, but
Yep,
we
exactly.
attend
And you
together.
both participate and you're active.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, I feel like, have you guys met Dan?
Not in person.
Not in
We're hoping
person?
to meet him in June.
Okay.
Up at Renee's event.
The Pink Skirt
up
Project.
in Kelowna. Yeah, so we'll
Very nice.
Hike and all that stuff. So yeah, excited to meet him in person.
Yeah, he's a great guy, good energy. We got to meet him in Miami.
The book signing.
Yeah, at the book signing. And I actually got to get up and ask a question. Like, I'm just like, dude, like, I know I'm gonna be able to ask this question. And so I got to ask a question. I got the best advice, and I've been using it for like all of our events.
Please share it.
Yeah.
What did you ask and what was the response?
So I asked him, I said, okay, we host these social media marketing and networking events every other month or so. And it's where it's a free event. We invite people out from the community, business owners, and we speak about a topic related to social media and just kind of give out free information, tips, and stuff.
In-person event.
Yes, an in-person event. Nice. And, at the in-person event, we also kind of promote and pitch our online coaching program. And I said, Dan, I need to know at our events, everyone's feeling good, after we give them all the information, but how do I close it? How do I get everyone in that room to sign up for our group coaching program? Yeah. And they said, okay, this is what you do. And I said, oh, I'm listening.
I was recording the whole thing.
Yeah. Nice. And he said, what you got to do is you have to address their objectives. He said, if you on your stories and you do this, that's great. But then you're going to run into this where you have to, post. And then if you post, you're going to run into this. And so, you're always going to have something to work on. But that's where we come in and help provide, the solution to that. And then he said, also tell him, he said, there isn't any reason any of you should leave here tonight without seeing whoever your assistant is. Paola, you should not go past the door without seeing Paola, without signing up for our program. If you're serious, and he said, say, who's serious? Raise your hand if you're serious. Okay, then all of you should be signed up before you leave here tonight. Who's signing up? Who's signing up? Show your hands. Who's signing up? And he said, and then he said, do that. And so I did it.
Wow. And
it worked. Yeah, I mean, it worked. We got, I'd say half the room, more than half the room signed up. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I think, for people who don't know, we're talking about Dan Martell. And, we met through Dan Martell, and Dan has this amazing coaching program that is very heavily into social media. He's a very big advocate for pushing your social media and just connecting. And he's just an all around good guy with big, high energy, kind of like you, Aaron. And, but I think when you invest in something, like you and I have both invested in Dan's program, and it's not inexpensive, right? But we're putting ourselves in the room with other people who invest in themselves. And we feel that investing in a lot of different elements are so very important. And you guys touched on this already earlier, but investing in your health, investing in your mental well-being, investing in your personal growth, right? All these kinds of things help you to avoid hospitals or grow yourselves, grow your business, whatever it may be. I want to know, is there anything else that you guys have personally invested in that has kind of been game changers for you?
I mean, we said our physical fitness, our nutrition. I think, as far as spirituality, I think that's the biggest thing. Human design is big. Enneagram is big, and spirit animal is big. For me, I mean, all because the thing is once you know yourself, this is the thing. Most people don't realize how much they don't know themselves. Mm-hmm. But once you know who you really are, and you can set your ego aside and be like, this is me.
Yeah.
You can do so much with that. That's so powerful to know who you are and what your power is. You know what I mean? But you got to let some things go and be able to hear some things about yourself that you might not be so pleasant to the ears, right? Sometimes. Yeah. But I feel like that's
really cool. I like that. And since you opened that box, I don't know very many people that know what their spirit animal is, but can you tell me what your spirit animal is? It's not like
I'm a
a hedgehog or something, right?
No, a sea otter. A sea otter. Sea otter is one that has energy, is very curious, gets everyone's
Playful.
attention, very playful, but also can turn on a dime if you hurt a loved one or something like that.
Very
It
loyal.
can be very vicious if you hurt with their. So
Wow.
yeah.
How did you figure that out?
We went to a shaman.
Really?
Yeah, which
We
was
had a session
shaman.
with a shaman in
Yeah, it was a
Iowa. That was
crazy
probably what,
experience.
I don't know, 8 years ago.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what started us on this, path
Just
to.
learning more about ourselves.
Yeah, but it was great.
Really?
It was a weird experience, but
Where do you find a shaman? Did you have to go out in the desert and
We had a
Hey,
friend
leave
that
this
did
over?
it. I think they're all, a lot of different places, but it's cool because when we went into it, you go separately, right? And I didn't tell him about my experience because I didn't want to ruin it for him, right? But he's like, "Oh, I'm probably gonna be like a panther or something like manly and masculine and whatever." And it's like it's not about like the physical appearance, thank God, because I'm a beaver. But it's not about like the physical appearance. It's about like how the animal is in its ecosystem and how they like a little bit about their personality.
personality.
That's super
Kind of
cool.
cool.
So do
And it was
certain
spot on for me. It was spot
Yeah.
on.
Um,
Wow.
And for you too,
mhm.
spot
The
on.
busy beaver.
Wow.
Do certain spirit animals align a lot better, or do you just learn the characteristics of them so that you can navigate that?
Both of it, yeah. So we're both
Mm.
sea and water animals. So
Okay.
that can have a play on it. Like we're more connected. I mean, I don't want to say more connected, but that's like a connection that we have that we're both sea and water animals.
Hmm.
Right, but then
Yeah.
then also knowing like the characteristics of a beaver, like what is always the beaver's intention, and like how does the beaver look at this situation compared to the otter? Like an otter's playful, but the beaver is serious in the business, and like, hey, we got to get this thing built, and the otter is like swimming around, you know what I mean, type of thing. And so knowing like when we are confronted with different situations, how like her personality is that beaver, I know who I have to be as an otter, so we can,
Sometimes I have to be like, okay, well, playtime's over, so now we have to get back to work. And then,
it's
but at the
always like
same
that.
time, he really shows me like, okay, we can't work all the time. Like, let's go do
Yes.
something fun. Pulls me away, so we both have our strengths and weaknesses, as everybody does.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. Like, this is fascinating to me. I hope you guys don't mind me asking a lot of these.
Not at all.
But I love that stuff, and so she thinks that she's a dolphin half the time anyway. So I think if she went and got her spirit
Might
animal
get the
actually
hedgehog.
verified, she might get a hedgehog or something like that. But so she probably would never do that. I would, because I'm like you. I would totally want to be like a panther or a manta ray or something. But I don't know if I would actually get that.
Yeah.
I could get the sloth actually, so maybe I won't do that either. But I love hearing, when you talk about your Enneagram and you talk about your spirit animal, and you're talking about basically understanding who you are, right?
Mhm.
And how that relates to who your partner is. And I think that's really, really important. I mean, a lot of people reference the 5 love languages, right? That book. And so a lot of similarities there too. But really what it all comes down to is understanding how to work together with your spouse, right?
Precisely.
Or in your business or whatever. And I think you're right, Aaron. Like, I think a lot of people really don't know themselves as well as they really think that they do,
Yeah.
Precisely.
And so I want to kind of switch gears here, because I know we've been recording for a while and this could go on for a very long time. But you guys moved to Florida in 2022. So you guys have been there now for a few years. What is the weirdest thing about Florida?
Weirdest.
Because we hear all these stories. Like, have you ever done the Google search? There's like a Google search where it's like Florida man, and then you put in the date or something, and it comes up with like these crazy articles of like this guy got arrested for like holding up a liquor store with a bowl of spaghetti or something like that. Like, there's all kinds of weird Florida stories. So I want to know, like, have you guys experienced any weird Florida things?
Oh,
People being scared of alligators is like when you're not from here, and we weren't from here, so the first one we saw, we're like, oh, don't get too close and all that stuff. And now it's just like if it was like a squirrel, like it's never gonna come up to you unless you're like dangling food. Like that's one thing we realized when we got here. Like alligators aren't scary. They kind of hide from you, and they'll go back underwater if they see you.
I have seen them in people's swimming pools.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, they do
We
get
don't want
in.
that.
Yeah.
We don't want
Yeah.
that, that lanai cage or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So keeping
Yeah.
them out. But we do get a little bit worried, like that's why we don't let our dogs off the leash around ponds or anything like that, because they're
Yeah.
little bite-sized, breakfast for them.
I would say the water here is
The
nasty.
water's nasty.
The water is terrible. Probably the worst in the country, I would say. Like
the
it is
drinking
not
water?
good. The drinking water,
Okay.
terrible. Any water that comes out of any faucet, terrible, terrible.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
So yeah, I mean they treat it with the fluoride and chlorine and
So it's basically dead and poisonous. Got it.
yeah, it's just poison. This is chemicals, most of it. So it's really
Do
nasty.
you love living in Florida? What's the hardest thing you've had to get used to? The water?
Yeah, that's the thing though. You get used to the weather, it being hot, and then as soon as it drops to 60 degrees, you're like, damn, like, whoa, you need to get your North Face coat on and stuff. Like
We
it's,
can relate. We're in Hawaii.
it's like
Yes.
a drastic change from like 90 to 60.
It is. You start to acclimate to that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we came from Iowa where we had negative temperatures every winter. And so it's kind of the opposite here in the summertime, where you just, instead of running from house to house because it's so cold out, you run from house to house to get back into the air conditioning in the summertime.
Yeah. We're in Hawaii where it's 85 degrees in the summer and then 83 degrees in the winter, so we don't really see a lot of changes. But we just bought a property in Arizona in June of last year, and it's kind of a big property, and I was going out there to kind of oversee some of the rehab and whatnot of it, and I ended up staying there the entire summer. And I thought I knew what hot was until I got to Arizona.
Right.
And it was 120 degrees every single day from June 1st till October 1st. I mean,
yeah, that's
it just
crazy.
didn't cool down at all.
That's crazy. We're at in Arizona.
It's in a town called Gilbert, which is like a suburb.
Sure, we have family there.
Yeah. So we have a few properties out there. We love it, but I had never been there in the summer before. I actually still love it, even in the summer. It's hot and you want to be inside, but it's kind of like Iowa in the winter time, right? Like you just don't go outside in the winter. You don't go outside in the summer, or if you do, you're in a pool, right? So
yeah,
exactly right. I tell people you never sweat when you're swimming or in the ocean. So there's ways around it.
Yep, that's it. All right, guys, what are 3 books you think everyone should read?
Okay.
Well, Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time.
Yeah, that one
that was life-changing for us.
Yeah, that's good.
I have them over here in the back.
Yeah.
All my books. Atomic Habits.
Yep.
That was huge.
Excellent. Yep.
Think and Grow Rich.
Napoleon Hill, great book.
That would be
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, those would be my 3.
Those are good 3 right off the top of your head. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
I'm a reader.
Yeah, I like it. All right, guys, if people want to connect with you, where would they do that?
On the gram.
Let's go.
Howard Productions, and Kate has the key.
Yes, and we will drop those in the show notes. Awesome.
Thanks for asking that, guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
Yeah, and so people can learn more about the coaching as well through your personal Instagrams, I assume.
Yeah. People can learn a little about that. Send us a DM, and we can forward over all the information, everything that they need.
All right. So what's next for you both, personally, professionally?
We got some big things coming up. We just actually we've been partnered with Sarasota County here, but we have an event coming up. They've asked us to present social media marketing strategies as a part of their Tourism U initiative.
Awesome.
And so this is for local businesses in the area. And so they're putting together this programming for them to learn and to elevate their business in different ways. And so one of the ways that the business community asked for help was to learn more about social media.
Perfect.
And strategies and video. And so they asked us to head that up.
Yeah, we're looking forward to being on some stages this next year, more podcasts like yours.
Fantastic.
And I just did a speaker training in Minnesota this last weekend with Rene Rodriguez. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him, but it was a life-changing event with 12 other women. It really gets you to understand how to make an impact on people when you speak. So I'm excited to put those things into practice when we do start more of speaking on stages and different avenues.
Yeah,
Love that.
that's
Yeah.
great.
And you get to do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How awesome is that? All right, guys, for one last question, because I wanted to ask this before and I just I skipped over it, but any advice that you guys would have for other entrepreneurial couples that are kind of just getting started, trying to find their way in business? I mean, how do you guys do it together?
Well, again, you gotta figure out each other's strengths and weaknesses, and you gotta have a way to avoid distractions. And distractions can come in many forms. It could be the TV, it could be your phone, it could be kids. That's a huge distraction.
Time for
Yeah.
whatever your distraction is, making the other person more important than that distraction.
That's so good.
That's the sacrifice. Is like if you really want to get somewhere as a couple, you're gonna have to put some things aside that maybe can wait or maybe not feel so good at the time, but in the long run, you'll get to where you want to be faster.
I love
I
it.
think knowing yourself more, working on yourself helps you become a better person.
100%.
And you can't have a good relationship unless you've been, worked on yourself. You know what I mean? And your past traumas and trash that you've brought in, you can't bring that into the relationship, right? You have to
be healed.
Yeah.
Or at least know where you need healing.
Yeah. Consistently work on that. So I feel like that project is never done.
Yeah.
So, and if you can put your ego aside and just know that, you're constantly working on, just like you have to work out your body every day, constantly have to work on your mental space as well.
And yourself.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. You guys are amazing. I'm so happy that we got to get to a few minutes to hang out together. Yeah. Hopefully we get to see you guys in person one of these days.
And on more stages.
And on some stages. Yeah, that'd be great.
Thanks for being part of the family today. If you want to see more of our journey through our personal life, businesses, and adventures, give us a follow on Instagram at Our Family Invests.
If you like this podcast, share this episode with a friend. And if you really want to support us, we would be so grateful if you would leave us a review on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. Your review helps us to reach a bigger audience and bring on more amazing guests. Thank you so much. We really, truly appreciate you.